Welcome to the Odd Couple Apostolic Edition, exploring the impossible roommates of the Worldwide Church of God. The premise was that the showrunners claimed these two were best friends, but the reality was a constant screaming match over the house rules. Our first cast member is James the Zadok, the brother of Jesus. He was a radical vegetarian, ultra-nationalist, and obsessed with the temple. His signature line, "Faith without works is dead, and so are you if you eat that shrimp." Next is Paul the Spouter, the self-appointed apostle. He was a cosmopolitan, pro-Roman citizen. His vibe was all things to all men, and his signature line was, "I am not under the law unless I need to be." The landlord's delusion, or the Armstrong harmonization, claimed that Paul loved the law just as much as James. The reality is, Paul never made the distinction between ritual law and spiritual law. He called the entire Sinai covenant bondage. Episode 1, The Works Dispute. James's script emphasized justification by works, believing righteousness is Torah doing. Paul's script stated, "A man is not justified by the works of the law, believing the law is bondage." Episode 2, The Dietary Disaster in Galatians chapter 2. Paul thought all things were pure, but James thought eating with Gentiles was pollution. When James's men arrived, Peter caved, and Paul screamed at Peter for his hypocrisy. James 1. The Dead Sea Scrolls contain the secret diary, Qumran Reveal. The text speaks of a conflict between the righteous teacher James and the spouter of lies Paul. The takeaway is that the harmonization ignores that one roommate was writing hate mail about the other. The Great Replacement shows that James was the successor to Jesus. The WCG folly was following Paul's Gentile Christianity while pretending to keep James's rules. Robert Eisenman said to follow Paul is to ignore James. To follow James is to ignore Paul. The ritual versus spiritual dodge was the WCG argument that when Paul said, "the law is abolished," he only meant animal sacrifices. The folly is believing you can keep the spiritual Sabbath while throwing out the ritual law, when the Torah makes no such distinction. The Acts PR cleanup job is a harmonizing document meant to make Peter sound like Paul, and Paul sound like Peter. Even the PR version in Acts 21 can't hide that they hated each other's theology. The season finale, the Tikach eviction in 1995. After HWA died, the new leadership admitted the odd couple arrangement was a lie. They admitted the Sabbath is not the sign of the new covenant, and that Paul truly abolished the old covenant laws. In the spin-offs, splinter groups refused to accept the show was canceled and still teach HWA's selective editing of the Bible. They claim to follow the Bible, but actually follow HWA's script. James and Paul were oil and water, the irreconcilable differences. James focused on loyalty to Torah and works required for justification. Paul focused on belief in the resurrected Savior, calling works a curse and bondage. You can choose one or the other, but mixing them creates a theological Frankenstein. The final verdict. The folly was building an entire religion on the pretense that a Roman citizen and a zealot high priest were teaching the exact same thing. The final thought is that the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came to end the argument. These are the producer credits, based on the works of Robert Eisenman, Bruce Renahan, Robert M. Price, and Joseph Tikach.